All right. So first, an introduction. I guess my name's Debbie Houston. I work for the Careers and Employment Service here at CQ University, and I'm based on our Rockhampton campus. Thank you all very much for joining me today. And I'm going to run you through, I guess, the different supports that the Careers and Employment Service can help you with. Again, for those that have access to their chat feature, if you wouldn't mind just popping in the chat box what you're hoping to get out of today's session, that would be great, and that'll just give me a bit of a guide and ensure that I'm covering off where I can, or directing you to the other services and sessions that we might be having as well. All right, so the intention for today's session is certainly just to give you an overview of the services that we offer and how we can assist. Hopefully, yeah, if you're looking at for a particular service, we'll cover up on that today. But otherwise, you can certainly get back in contact with us, and we'll be able to take you through whether we can help or point you in the right direction if we aren't able to help you out as well. So part of our help series this week, we have got a few different topics running across the lunch hour. So tomorrow it's Help I Need a Job. Thursday, tomorrow is, I think I'm in the wrong course, so I'm running that one as well. Wednesday and Thursday will be run by Julie and around finding a job and also putting together your resume. And then Friday I will be back again and just talking about maximising your study at university. And to be the most employable you can be once you get to the end of your qualification as well. Okay, so who are we? Obviously, we're a free service for all CQ University students, regardless of location. So we do try and provide services to all of our students as best we can. We are a pretty small service. Myself, Julie Holmes, is based on our Noosa campus, Teresa on our Melbourne campus, Kinga on our Brisbane campus, and Helen just starting this week on our Sydney campus. Teresa, Kinga and Helen are all part-time, so you will find them on campus typically Monday and Tuesday, and every alternate Wednesday typically are their usual times, and Julie and I are full-time on the other two campuses. As I mentioned, we do try and provide services to all of our campuses, so we do try and travel around where we can. So we are providing some pop-up services. So if you're closer to one of these other campuses, these are the dates that we will be on those campuses this term, and you will find that promoted through our Career Hub site as well. For our distance students, you can obviously always access us via email or by phone, and we do appointments via Skype and phone for our distance students as well if you're unable to access one of our campuses. Won't be having a Brisbane pop-up service, Shiva, just because we do have now Kinga based on our Brisbane campus on the Monday and Tuesday and alternate Wednesday. So you will be able to access her. She has drop-in services as well as one-on-one appointments, and will be hosting workshops throughout the term as well. Okay, so how to get in contact with us. You can ring through to the 132786 number at any time, and they will raise a request with us for us to get in contact with you. You can email us direct, careers@cqu.edu.au. Our Career Hub website, which you would have gone through potentially today to register for this event, is our main portal for all careers and employment information, and you will see a lot of information go up through that site in terms of just news as well as job vacancies that we advertise, any events that we're hosting or that we're aware of that are being hosted elsewhere. So you will see that information posted up there. Our appointment booking system is done through that Career Hub website as well. So it is a pretty central site. We do have a general website as well where you can find our contact details and some general information, and that's just careers at the end of the CQU address there. We're pretty frequent on UCrew, and you'll get sick of seeing my little face pop up on there with messages and hints and tips for you on our UCrew site, but certainly do follow us along on there. We will post a lot of information up into that space, sometimes stuff that doesn't fit well within our Career Hub space or that we will duplicate, so it's a good way just to keep up to date with little things that might come across our desk that we think might be important for you. Similarly, our careers display, there should be a careers display on each of our campuses. You might find it in your library or in the main student admissions sort of area or inquiries area, but there should be generally a bit of a display with some information that you can access around careers in terms of how to access us for other publications and information or information sheets that we might have produced on resume writing, etc., that you can access them from there as well. A lot of our resources, we do try and duplicate them up into our Career Hub site so you can access them through there as well. And we do have a large number of electronic resources as well that we try to make available to everyone. So as I mentioned, this is our Career Hub site, a bit of a view. I'm not going to click you through it simply because technology will probably fail me, but it gives you an idea of what it kind of looks like. We are in the process of doing some upgrades at the moment, just in terms of our student cohort being able to access our system just with your username and password. So if you do experience any problems accessing the system at the moment, please bear with us. Hopefully in the next week or so we will have all of those resolved. But if you are having trouble accessing it as a current student, you can always log in as a prospect, and we should then update you all automatically with our system once we come back online with those upgrades. As I mentioned, you can search for work in this site. Anything from part-time, casual, vacation, volunteer, overseas employment as well. You can just do a search, standard sort of job search that you would find on any other system. You can search against more options as well, so you can also search against expired vacancies. If you're looking for a list of companies that you might want to approach through a direct cold canvas, for example, or just get an idea of the types of things we've previously listed, so that's quite useful. As I mentioned, we do have our appointments booking system through there, so you can book in for appointments with us through that site. I think we're booked out for about a week in advance at the moment, but you can certainly see most of our appointments. We will list them for weeks in advance, so you can see our upcoming availability for appointments there as well. If you have got a question and you just want to pop it up and get a response direct through the Career Hub site, you can do that through our service on there as well. Any upcoming events will be listed there, and also the Resume Doctor feature, which some of you may be interested in, especially if you're coming towards the end of your program, or even if you are in that stage of looking for employment. You can pop your resume, load your resume up to the Resume Doctor feature there. It's just a form that you fill in, upload your documents to there. It can be a cover letter, resume, selection criteria, all three, and a staff member will go through those and check those and give you back some feedback in relation to those, just suggestions that you can take on board at your leisure. With that, we do allow for about a week's turnaround time. We're quite busy at the moment with final year nurses putting in their applications for review for their graduate recruitment. So there's a bit of a wait time there at the moment, so certainly do allow for a week to get some feedback from them. You'll find lots of resources in here through our quick links, as well as under our resources tab in relation to resumes, cover letters, selection criteria, interviews, job search strategies, other career planning hints and tips, etc., as well as profiles and links to employers, professional associations, other job search sites, etc. We certainly don't espouse to be the only source of careers and employment information. There's certainly some other great resources out there, and we try and direct you to those as much as we can as well. Let me see if I've covered off on all of our services. So that's our Career Hub site and all of those sorts of things. As I mentioned, we do offer career counselling. So at any stage during your career, if you're feeling a little bit uncertain about your direction, whether you're on the right path or maybe thinking that maybe you're on the wrong path, you can certainly get in contact with us. So we offer that one-on-one, or you can come with a friend or a family member, that's fine as well. We do that face-to-face on our campuses where we do have staff or where we are doing those pop-up services. We are available to do it over the phone or via email as well. And we can also do it via a video call such as Skype or the Zoom platform that we're using today. As I mentioned, we do have that job application check-in service, so you can upload it to the Resume Doctor if you don't want face-to-face feedback, or you can book in an appointment as well for that feedback as well. As I also mentioned, certainly on our metro campuses, so our Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne campuses, you will also find that they have drop-in services available, so you don't need to book in for those appointments. You can just turn up to those appointment slots, and they often do resume checks as well as just brief career counselling, and if they find that you need additional careers assistance, they will book you in for a one-on-one appointment from those drop-in sessions as well. Annual events that we host, events throughout the term, such as these webinars, and we will be hosting a whole range of different events throughout the term, and you will see those promoted up through the Career Hub site. So we'll be giving a focus to different things such as volunteering, Science Week, providing an industry insights week, where we'll be inviting alumni from all the different specialisations here at CEEC University to come in and speak over the duration of the week, as well as hopefully some guest speakers from the Fair Work Ombudsman as well, to talk about knowing the rights at work and things like that as well. So look out for those events over the term. Just to talk you through some of the other resources. Now, you may have noticed on our previous slide the Careers Toolkit. This is another little resource that we purchase in for additional support for you in relation to your careers and employment preparation. So you can go through your own career planning process through the Plan Your Career tab here. If you're preparing for work placement, there's some great resources in terms of transitioning into a workplace for placement preparation, as well as preparing your documentation that you might need for that. Development and leadership skills, recruitment ready in terms of preparing those job applications, interviews, general business skills. So it's a great little way to upgrade some of your skills and just brush up on some skills areas that you might need if you've got gaps in your skills. It's a great work tool to access some of that information as well. You can also access supplementary job listings as well through our job hunting guide. And also through our job listings, which you'll see up underneath the My Jobs tab. You'll see some additional job board that you can access through there as well. Some other tools that you will find within the Careers Toolkit include a CV builder, a cover letter builder, a mock interviewer. So if you've got an interview coming up, you're a bit nervous about that, you can actually record yourself giving responses to some standard sets of questions or some customised list of questions, and then review your feedback against sort of standard employer feedback around what they would expect in terms of response to those difficult questions as well. There's an elevator pitch builder, which can be really useful if you're trying to put together a career objective in your resume or just going along to a networking event. It's a great tool to prepare yourself in terms of how you introduce yourself in those networking situations. Also a really useful tool in terms of preparing for interviews with those why should you employ me kind of questions that often you'll often get in that interview situation as well. If you're likely to be faced with assessment centres or psychometric testing as part of any of your job applications, again, you can access all of those through the My Tools section of the Careers Toolkit, and I'll give you practice ones that you can undertake for that, be it part of a recruitment activity, or if you're going on to further studies, for example, in medicine, where you might have to do some of that sort of testing, useful ways to get your head into that sort of space as well. The Careers Toolkit has lots and lots of resources in terms of preparing for your career and employment based stuff, lots of information on different industry insights, etc. A lot of employer perspectives and those sorts of things as well. So a really useful resource there that you can tap into anytime, 24/7. Also, additional resource that we have available for you is our Going Global resource. So again, you'll find links to this from our Career Hub site. But this allows you to search for job vacancies overseas, but also within Australia as well, and has a pretty good listing of internship sort of type vacancies as well. But if you are looking to go overseas, it's really useful in that it has career guides for those overseas countries, and also there's one for Australia if you are an international student and recently arrived in Australia and looking for some country-specific information around resume resumes and cover letters, etc. You'll find some useful information around that in the career guides, or similarly if you're going overseas and wanting to find out what the standard sort of resume would look like in another country. Really useful to access those career guides. It does have job listings, as I said, for both here in Australia and overseas, so really useful to access that, as well as employer directory and visa information, particularly for the United States if you're looking to maybe travel in that direction. So a really useful little resource there. And as I mentioned, yeah, good supplementary job listings to what's listed in Career Hub and the Careers Toolkit. The Career Voyage program, so this is a free career assessment that you can access. So you will find career assessment activities within the Careers Toolkit. But this is a supplementary one that you will also find links to from within Career Hub. So a free little site that you can access. You'll find the username and password that you create those yourself under. Once you click on Create New Client Account, you will need the organisational code, which you'll find in the information links within Career Hub for Career Voyage. But it just takes you through that career assessment process, asking you a whole lot of questions about your likes and dislikes, just to confirm maybe your career direction, or if you are feeling that you are in the wrong space, be it now or in the future, it just gives you a place to go back and do a bit of a reassessment. A useful way, I guess, to build up that self-awareness, which is part of the career planning process. Our CQ Uni Career Connection is another platform and tool that we have available for you as a student. So this little platform that, again, you can access through our Career Hub website. It will link you into alumni that have left the university, that are working now in industry. So you can link up with them for career conversations, resume reviews, and also mock interviews. So a really great resource. There are alumni that have volunteered to be part of the platform. So they're really there to provide you with advice and guidance, and it gives you an alternative source of information for people that are out there in industry. Obviously, being CQ University alumni, they have an affinity to CQ University, and so they are keen to assist fellow students and of CQ University as much as they can. So it's a great way, I guess, to start establishing your network and building your network, by putting some feelers out into industry and having, I guess, that warm connection of somebody that's already connected with CQ University to provide some assistance there. So it's quite an easy platform. You can just log in with either your email address, or you can log in utilising your Facebook account, things like that. You can then search all of the advisors that are available, and then the platform will take you through the process of booking in an appointment with them. And then the rest of the system, it's then all done online, essentially through an online hookup and by the phone, and it's all for free. So you can access that and have those conversations with our alumni at any stage as well. And we are hoping to continue to expand that platform as well, so that you'll be able to connect with alumni on a range of different topics, and also potentially arrange to meet them face to face, as well as looking to extend beyond our alumni to some of our industry partnerships as well, and get some additional advisors into that space going forward. So I think I've covered off on, hopefully, on most of our services. I think I've covered off on most of everything, but if there was something in particular that you were hoping to find out about, or you're not sure if we provide that service, certainly feel free to ask that question now. But essentially, anything to do with careers and employment, we are your one-stop shop for all of that, and we will try and provide as much assistance as we possibly can in that regard. So if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat box there, and I will try and answer any of those. If you've got questions in relating to any of those other topics, obviously drop into any of our other webinars that are happening this week as well, or certainly get in contact with us direct. Yes, in terms of how long you can access our services, you will be able to access all of our services on an ongoing basis once you've completed your studies here at CQ University. So you'll be able to access our full suite of services for at least 12 months after you graduate, and you will have continued access to all of our online services indefinitely going forward, as long as you would need them as well. In terms of one-on-one support, rather than accessing our career counselling services, etc., through our Career Hub site going forward, you'll be directed back through our CQ Uni Career Connection service to access any sort of one-on-one support that you were looking for in terms of career counselling, resume advice, etc. All right, well, if there was no other questions, feel free to jump out at any time. I'll hang around for a little bit longer if there are any other questions, but certainly you can touch base with us, as I mentioned, for anything careers and employment related, be it career pathways going forward once you've graduated, or your career pathways whilst you're studying, ways to maximise your studies, to increase your employment opportunities, and obviously with all those job application processes, be it during your program or towards the end as well. In terms of the graduate employment market for a graduate that's finished the Masters in Management for engineers who already hold an undergraduate degree for mechanical engineering, obviously a lot of that employability factor will certainly come into play a little bit in terms of your residency status when you are looking for employment. We do find that our international students can find it a little bit more difficult to secure graduate employment, simply because a lot of our companies will have restrictions around requiring people to be Australian residents or permanent residents or Australian citizens, so it can be a little bit trickier. That's not to say there aren't employment opportunities available, and certainly engineering is one of our, does tend to be a reasonably strong field. Obviously, the mechanical engineering space can be affected by broader aspects, such as downturns in the mining industry and those sorts of things, but that's not uncommon for other fields as well, to have that sort of cyclical nature and be impacted by other factors as well. But certainly we would encourage you to be thinking quite broadly, I guess, in terms of your employment prospects, and it might be initially looking for generalist sort of mechanical engineering roles with the view of moving into management once you've secured that initial position and got a foot in the door with an Australian-based organisation as well. Having just completed your master's degree, can I get a professional job for a recent graduate without Australian citizenship? Yeah, look, there are positions are available for grads without Australian citizenship or permanent residency. They can be a little trickier to find, but there certainly are some that do exist, and it is about being really proactive, I guess, in terms of your job search, really being mindful of the quality of your application, really changing that up and targeting it correctly towards the positions that you're applying for, really taking note, I guess, of Australian customs in terms of those resume standards, etc., what they're looking for. That's particularly important when you're putting your online applications as well, where applicant tracking systems might be utilised, because some overseas sort of formats for resumes will mean that they won't get selected through applicant tracking systems that might be used here in Australia, simply because of the way that technology is set up and the types of things that they will throw those systems out, things like using tables, etc. So certainly something to be mindful of, and I would certainly encourage you to make contact with us to talk through some of that process. Certainly, you can come along to our information sessions during the week. You can certainly access assistance with your resume and cover letter. You can book in for a face-to-face appointment or for a phone appointment. I know I have appointment slots available still next week. If you're based in Rockhampton, then you can certainly book in with me. I'm happy to see you face-to-face, or similarly by phone if you're based on one of the other campuses and you're struggling to find an appointment slot. Yeah, you can certainly do that. Not a problem, anytime. kinds of additional skills certificates should I possess as a fresher to apply for jobs other than my educational qualifications? So just to clarify, I guess if you're looking for just part-time and casual work, some of the additional skills and certificates that might be handy if you're looking for jobs outside your occupational area, if you're just looking for some part-time and casual work to pay some bills, etc. Things like your responsible service of alcohol, responsible gambling certificates, those sorts of things can be really handy. Food and beverage certificates, that sort of stuff can be really handy in those sorts of situations. In terms of the other skill sets, if you're thinking more in terms of graduate employment, it really comes down to thinking about more your skills gaps and those generalist skills that employers might be looking for. And a lot of that comes down to things like your communication skills, your teamwork skills, etc. So looking for opportunities where you can build those skills. Now, if you're not looking to maybe do that for employment, there's still great opportunities to build those skills through other activities that might be happening on your campus. If you are based on one of our other campuses, certainly, there's ways to get involved through student representative councils, clubs and societies, being mentors to fellow students, be they domestic or international students. So there's competitions that the university engages in, things like the Big Idea, a lot of social innovation activities and competitions, etc. And they're all great activities that will give you not only additional skills, and especially a lot of those generic skills, but they can often bring you into contact with industry as well. And that's a great way to start building some of those networks and potentially to secure graduate employment as well. All right, that's wonderful. Thank you all very much for your attendance today, and I look forward to catching up with you either through an appointment or through another event or workshop that we might be hosting. And I know all of our other staff will feel the same way as well. So certainly do make contact with one of us or all of us at each stage. We really appreciate it and look forward to working with you. Thanks a lot.